Hello and welcome to a video in my ongoing series in which I am developing a pixel art editor using my custom C++ GUI framework. It's been a while since my last video, but I've been busy in the back end. You can see the interface itself has changed quite dramatically. There's loads more features, and more importantly, my OpenGL rendering backend was ripped out and restarted. And now it's a fully functional deferred OpenGL batch renderer that stays at a rock solid 60 frames per second, which is my VSync on my monitor, and doesn't skip a beat no matter how many elements we have got on the screen per frame. Okay, let's just expand this view so you can get a better look at the layout. So we've got, I think we had the checkered background last video. We've got a document loaded with this area here in the blue box, but as you can see we have got no images. So if I just expand my bottom splitter panel there, we can do that quickly using the arrow button, or we can just drag it. As you can see, we've got two images loaded. One's a reference image, which is just a background image. That's a true RGB image that we can independently pan and zoom, so we can use it basically as a trace layout if we want to trace over it onto an indexed image, because this is an indexed pixel editor. We only work with indexed palettes. And to show you that, turn off our reference image and show you our index King Tut mask there. As you can see, when we over the index, the mag view there, which is just a zoomed in view of the mouse cursor, it's a 7x7 grid with the mouse cursor highlighted in blue in the center. That's just a quick view of what is directly under our mouse, and that will remain there at all times, just for a useful reference basically. As you can see, we can turn on the indexed image there, we can turn on the reference behind it. You can see the squares, the checkerboards shining through the reference image. That's because the reference image itself has a alpha of 75%, I believe, so it's shining through the background. So if we drag the indexed image behind the reference image, you can see King Tut there just barely shines through. He is still there, as you can see, and let's just drag him in front, and there we go, he's back. In fact, let's just change that to King Tut. If anyone gets the reference to the King Tut mask, he's probably as old as me. So there you go. So we can name layers, we can move layers, we've got layer groups. So if I move the reference into the layer group, there we go, the layer group is there. We can change the visibility of the layer group, and we can select the layer group. Selection doesn't do much at the moment. This is an ongoing tool that I'm developing, this layer tool. Okay, what else can we do? We can insert an extra layer. There we go, and that's just a blank canvas, the same size as the document canvas size, which is basically our King Tut size there. And because it's gone black, that's because it's layering last, it's printing last over the top of King Tut. So if we bring King Tut down, it'll pop back into view there. We can also add extra frames to our animation. So basically it's an animation timeline, very similar to Aseprite. Aseprite is well understood, and it does everything quite well. I just added a few more features that I thought were missing. So we've got linked frames and unlinked frames. So if we just link King Tut there and click on extra frame, and see another frame pops up, and because it's linked, it's exactly the same image on each one of these frames. Again, this is just a work in progress, it will all change, it will show links and all sorts. But if we unlink and insert a frame, it will insert a new frame at this position here, so it'll insert after this position. So we've unlinked King Tut and we've inserted a new frame, so that becomes frame 8. Now we should expect frame 8 now to be black, because it's created a brand new frame, a brand new canvas. And now frame 9 should be black too, and it should go back to King Tut for the last 2 frames. So there we go. So that's the power of linking the frames. So if you link the frame, it just basically uses this previous frame as the new frame. If it's unlinked, it creates a brand new canvas. So let's go back to our first frame there. Oh, didn't show you this. This is a quick, I think they're called scrubbers. So you can scrub through the animation frames left to right in real time. And you see the top left frames, FPS is still rock solid 60. But this means you can just quickly just pan through our animation there. So we'll leave it on King Tut, and we'll show you the rest of the applications it stands right now. So we'll get rid of that. So there's King Tut himself. We've got zoom. So we've got zoom 1 to 128. We can do mouse wheel zoom, and we can do just button zoom. When we zoom in, a preview pane pops up on the left hand side. If you're all familiar with DPaint, this is exactly how DPaint worked. So we've got the zoomed in view there on the right, and the reference image there on the left. And the left reference image will move to position itself relative to the zoomed in area here. So there we go, right in the middle on his nose. And again, we can just zoom out. When we get to zoom 1, the preview window just disappears. Let's go in again, why not? Also use the zoom since we've got it there. Okay, so we've got brushes, default preset brushes at the top, and our toolbar on the right. These haven't been implemented fully yet, so they're still to come, but this is just to show you how the interface actually works, and I think it looks quite professional. You tell me otherwise, but I quite like it. So our palette has changed to a 8 by 32 grid, so it takes up less space on the screen, but it still looks fully functional. So we've got indexes, scan through all the indices there, and we've got our current drawing colour and our secondary, so it's primary and secondary colours. So we'll have that one as that one, that one as that one, and there we go. So you say, right, so how do we actually edit these colours? You used to have some nice palette editing and gradient stuff. Well, we just expand the toolbar to the right using this little button here. As you see, these panels resize if they have to, and our palette editor is on the top just as it used to be. So we've got all this functionality still remaining, and this is the joy of indexed palettes, because these are fixed. Any changes to the colours in the palette instantly change the colours on the main picture at 60 frames per second. Excuse me, with no slowdown. So this is a fully old school indexed palette system, so we only work with indexed palettes up to 256 colours, basically for true pixel art. So we just undo that. Actually, we don't like white green background now. So we can change any colour we want, HSV if we want, and change it. Oh, we've chosen a really obscure colour there. It's just changing the bit on these ASP. So we'll undo that. The background colour. There we go. So that's the background colour. Increase its hue value, value. Increase its saturation, and increase its hue, and that background just changes in real time. Undo, 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 back to black. And of course we've still got our gradient tool there, but we won't use gradient in this one. We'll go back to our colour ramps, and this is one of the joys of using an indexed palette system. If we choose, select the entire palette there using Shift and Select, it'll auto-populate the gradient if you want to create a gradient. We can just play about with that now. I've shown you that before. We're going from black to almost white, so the gradient is pretty linear, but we can change the brightness, and of course we can go via orange. There we go. So we've got orange in the middle, and we can shape up brown, and we can change. But you've seen that before. We've seen the balance, the gradient. We're not doing the gradient stuff now, so we'll just cancel that. But what we do need is the full palette, and we add a ramp. So that's the full palette. So again, we just change it to full palette. So these are all the colours in the palette in one ramp, well, yeah, or group. So this is basically a group of colours. And one of the joys of this one is we can select all the colours. You see it highlights the ones we've selected. If we just turn some off, these are the ones we haven't got selected. Basically the colour ramp system hasn't changed since last time. So if we change the hue of all these colours in this ramp, King Tut will change all its colours in real time straight away. So we can have him green, emerald if you wanted to, blue, there we go, purple. That's all in real time, no frames dropped, instant. And of course we can undo that as well. Back to original. We can decrease the saturation, so it goes to a true grayscale image. We've got a sharp quality on that. Undo, and we can go to full saturation, so it becomes deep gold. Obviously the blues stand out more. And we can change the values, so make him darker, or we can make him lighter. In fact, let's just change his saturation to 0. It's black and white. What happens if we change the values there? That's quite nice. So I'm just playing about with them myself then. So washed out. Yeah, so back again. So we've got a collapsible side panel there. This is where all the tool options will be for all these tools here. So when you finish doing your options, you can just collapse the panel, and that just leaves you with your palette and your tools. And of course everything will be key controlled also, so you can just quickly go through the tools using your key shortcuts. But for most users, you can use the tools on the right hand side. Yeah, so brushes and tile sets haven't been created yet, but we're going to have custom brushes and tile set support. And of course the layer system is going to be fleshed out into a full animation suite, basically just like Sprites, or not based on Sprites, because Sprites works, but we can have multiple animations up to 256 frames. Yeah, and that's it really. I hope this has been a good update. A lot has changed. I'm sorry if it was a bit rambling and there's not a lot to show with the tools, but those will come eventually. I'm quite proud of the splitter bars, all the splitter panels, they're working. The zoom, yeah, I quite like the zoom. Basically I think it's looking quite good at the moment. It's going in a good direction. Hopefully I'll get something out soon showing some actual pixels being put onto a canvas. Fingers crossed. Let's just zoom out and leave our King Tut there, smiling his happy smile. Okay, any feedback, again, let me know. Hopefully you enjoy this, you like the look of it. I quite like the look of it. I think it looks a lot better and it's evolving every day. So yeah, it is evolving because its palette has been everywhere. It was a big square block, as you remember, on the right hand side. It's been there, it's been down here, it's been on the left. But I think its position there, it suits it and it works. Because now we have just got this massive canvas to work on with very little intrusion from the actual UI. Okay, so that's it for me. Let me know if you've got any feedback. Let me know if you've got any comments. If you want to subscribe, that'd be brilliant. I want to actually grow this channel and get a bit of interest in this program because it will be released at some point. Yeah, I'll leave you there and thanks for watching. Goodbye for now.